Hey, welcome to Wise Up, a walk through the book of Proverbs. Today is day 11, so we're in Proverbs chapter 11. And verse 3 says this: honesty guides good people, dishonesty destroys treacherous people. Now I'm going to read that again. Honesty guides good people, dishonesty destroys treacherous people. Now, good people as defined by people that live an honest lifestyle, that operate out of honesty, whereas dishonesty destroys treacherous people. Now, if honesty is life-giving, then dishonesty is life-taking. And so when we come to scenarios in our life where we have the opportunity to maybe be honest, dishonest, and I remember, if you're like me, you grew up with the movies or the shows where they had the angel on one shoulder and then the devil on the other shoulder, and the angel's going, hey, you should really say this, and the devil's like, nah, do whatever you want, lie about it. Well, the reality is, every time the character in the show followed the advice that was negative, the dishonest advice, it was always treacherous. It was always life-taking instead of life-giving. Now, we've talked about how wisdom is the appropriate application of information. So for wherever you are today in life, when you have the opportunity to be honest or dishonest, it's always better to go with the honest side, even if often, not always, it's harder. Now, let me encourage you with this. I've had scenarios in my own life repeatedly where I thought honesty was going to break a relationship, or it was going to make it more difficult or make it harder. And the reality was that multiple times people were more gracious and more receptive to the honesty. And so I want to encourage you with that. Now, verse 7 says, when the wicked die, their hopes die with them, for they rely on their own feeble strength. So the author here says not just their own strength, but their own feeble strength. So if we remember this, that God is infinite. He's beyond comparison, and we are finite. So if we are finite and small and limited, God is infinite and massive and unlimited. And so when you compare those two, that our strength versus God's strength, there's no comparison whatsoever. So when we operate in our own strength, it's always feeble at best. When we operate in God's strength, we're borrowing from His limitless reserve of strength. So think about it like this. If you're a Christ follower, when I apply what God has to say and I take in His teaching and His direction in my life, what I'm doing is I'm borrowing from God. And He says, hey, I got more where that came from. Now, if I use my own reserve, I'm very, very limited. Think about it like this. If I pull my wallet out, I could probably give you about $6. If someone else that maybe is incredibly wealthy pulls their wallet out, they may have way more than they could offer. They have that black card, hey, charge it, whatever. I'm not advising that. But if you got a black card and you want to take me to lunch, let's go. I got $6. So it's just something, when we tend to rely on our own strength, it's always feeble. It's always kind of wobbly. Now, with that in mind, verse 14 says, without wise leadership, a nation falls. There is safety in having many advisors. Now, this is true across the board. Without wise leadership, a nation, a company, a marriage, an organization, an idea, a sports team, whatever it is, without wise leadership, those things tend to fall. And again, it comes back to, when we operate out of a place of foolishness, we tend to operate in our own strength, which we've already talked about is quite feeble. Now, God's got a lot of strength and a lot of wisdom in here. I hope you'll continue to lean in as we wise up together.